Hey, it is Saturday morning. It isn't just Saturday morning. If you are here in the US, it is Saturday, July 4th. We are celebrating 250 years, kind of a baby country for anybody listening to us anywhere else. But welcome to a Sales Logic. Maybe a holiday, but Mark, we are still selling.
We are still here. You don't look a day over 29. So, hey,
Yeah.
250, I guess we've aged well. So, anyway, hey, we got a great topic. We got a topic that we have not talked about before. This is really cool. We're going to talk about trade shows, secrets to a strong ROI on trade shows. And we're even going to show you what are the big mistakes that people make when it comes to trade shows. So, let's dive in. What's your take? Trade shows. Love them?
I think that, first of all, I think that trade shows are probably more important than they have been in a long time. It's really your opportunity to connect with people in person. And I think we're really undervaluing from a sales professional how important it is to connect in person these days. But far too often we have no strategy or no plan when we go into a trade show. And so I think probably the first mistake I would make, or what you need to do to get your ROI out of trade shows, is to really start to think through, like, why are we doing this trade show? What do we want to get out of these trade show? And what's our strategy to get that?
Great point. And this applies to whether or not you're just attending a trade show or putting on a booth, displaying, having some sort of role in the trade show. Because something that I've found is that, the in-person meeting is just not happening as frequently post-COVID as it did pre-COVID. So that means trade shows may be the only opportunity you have to go face-to-face with a potential customer, potential prospect. So that does make trade shows that much more important. And also, there's a real cost efficiency, because if you can see 5, 6, 7 customers at one trade show, that's a pretty efficient use of your time and your money. But you got to have the plan. So what are some things that you think people should be doing to really develop that plan for a good trade show?
Yeah, I think first, welcome, Bryn. Happy 250th. Number one, I'm going to probably steal something from something that Bryn would say anyway, but you want to know who you're going to connect with. I mean, you're going to be there 3 days, and you can't, you're just going in there and thinking about connecting with everybody is crazy. So what existing customers do you want and need to touch base with? And then what prospects do you want to get introduced to? But go in there thinking, in the next 3 days, here's who I need to talk to, and here's how I'm going to get in front of them.
That's so true, because the trade show begins before the trade show begins.
Yes.
You have got to set up, who is that list? Who is the list of people? And start reaching out to them. One of the things that I tell salespeople to do is, if there's a big industry trade show, use that as the reason for phone calls. Hey, are you planning to be there? Let's plan to get together. Start setting up meetings, reach out, connect with people, fill the calendar before the trade show begins. And again, it's with existing customers, it's with people you want to meet, it's with prospects. You can run the calls, you can run the contacts as deep and as broad as you want, but it's your opportunity.
Yeah, I also think, I think like hosting events or dinners at trade shows is a really great way to, if you can mix your prospects and your customers together at a dinner, your customers will do the selling for you. So find a night where you could, if you can do cocktails, or you can do dinner, or you can do some type of lunch event, do something that that allows your existing customers to interact with your prospects.
Along with that, one technique that I've seen, do the first morning breakfast, because you do it the second or third day in the evening, and people are like, whoa, they're just, yeah. But do it that first morning when people are fresh, and it's amazing how you can get people. But you're right. It's schedule little things that you can get both customers and prospects to. And it's amazing. Those customers will talk for you. But hey, here's a pet peeve that I've got. I hate it when I hear that, oh yeah, we're sending 4 or 5 people to this trade show, and all they do is hang out together. Why are you hanging out together? Separate, split up. You're not BFFs, okay? You got to get out. You got to connect with as many different people. That means you got to not spend time together, okay? Get it, do it.
I love what Terry Brock is saying here. Happy Independence Day, Gina and Terry, our AI gurus. Trade shows are a great place to focus on a given industry and a way of doing business. Also great to meet key people focused on a given industry. Hard to get that level of focus elsewhere. You're so true, so right. I also think that something that is missed a lot in trade shows is this opportunity to connect with the other vendors. There you are on a trade show floor while everybody is in listening to the opening keynote or whatever they're gone to listen to. You don't have much traffic. Use that time to build partnerships, relationships, and people you can refer back and forth to. This is a great time. These are people are most likely not your competitors because they wouldn't have a million of you on the trade show floor. So look at the opportunity to work together.
Oh, I love that. Hey, let's talk about breakouts for a second. And those meetings that are always going on now, maybe you're a vendor and they don't allow you to attend. Maybe you're just attending this trade show and you can't. You're saying breakouts and so forth. Excellent time. Here's a key thing. Arrive a few minutes early. Arrive early because you know what? The people who are in the room early are the ones who are really connected to the industry. Those are probably the people you want to know. Sit up towards the front because that's where the industry people, that's where the industry leaders are going to be sitting. Sit up there, get involved, stick around afterwards. In other words, you maximize your time in those breakout sessions, in those workshops, in whatever they are called, but you do it. And make sure you connect yourself with whoever the presenter is, because the presenter was selected by the industry for some reason. Could be a good person to get to know who can eventually connect you with somebody else. If not, maybe they're a potential customer or they are a customer of yours.
Yeah. Mark, we got a question this week?
Yo, we do have a question. It comes from Margot in West Palm Beach. She says, my company spends a fortune on trade shows, just what we're talking about. I just don't see the ROI. Would be interested to know your thoughts on trade shows and, more important, your ideas for getting ROI. I think it starts with doing with what we've been talking about, but I know you got some more ideas.
Well, I think trade shows are like meetings, right? I think every year you need to question why you're doing it or why you're having it. I tell my clients all the time, don't just keep going to meetings. Question why you're going to that meeting and if you're really needed in that meeting. The trade show is the same thing. Trade shows are fabulous, but trade shows will wear you out. It's one of the most, people think you're going there and you're kind of in a party and you're going to dinner with people. I used to work for this company. We did this huge 3-day trade show in Atlanta, and everybody who worked at the company thought I was down there having a party because I was taking doctors to dinner every night. But I was exhausted by the time it was over. So you don't want to do too many trade shows. You really need to go back to that avatar and ask yourself, who's my ideal customer profile? Who am I looking for? And does my profile, does my avatar really use this trade show? So I would begin there, Margot. You really need to think about, maybe you're doing too many trade shows. So people are going to them and they're just like, oh my God, I'm exhausted from the last one. I can't do another one. So they're not pulling out the ROI.
Well, that's the thing. I see so many companies. Oh, we have the marketing budget, so we're going to attend all of these trade shows. Like, you're right. Big mistake. Here's a strategy that if you're looking at trade shows, you do have to look very cautiously and don't spend money just to spend money. First time at a trade show, just go walk it. Just go walk it. Don't sit there and say that you're going to spend umpteen $1,000 to have a booth display, something like that. Just walk the show, attend it. That way you're now going to see whether or not it makes sense. Year 2, you can come back and you can have a booth. You can be a sponsor. You can be that. But then once you become a sponsor of a trade show event, you've got to be in it for at least 2 to 3 years to be able to establish your presence there. And this is the whole thing. So many people jump in. Oh, it was a waste. Well, it was a waste because you shouldn't have been there to begin with. That's why you walk the show the first year and then you participate. But once you start participating, be there for 2 to 3 years because it's going to take you time to establish your presence in the industry, your presence in that space, and really begin to develop what kind of ROI I can get from it.
Yeah, I love what Bryn Tillman is saying. For those that have booths, I highly recommend setting up a resource hub using Sales Navigator smart links with a QR code. You can track clicks and downloads and see their profiles in real time. It makes follow-up so easy. Such good advice. And it leads into the conversation we should be having, which when the trade show ends, I mean, it is all about the follow-up. before you leave the trade show, you should not only know who you're following up with, but your next meeting should already be set. I mean, assuming I call on Mark at a trade show, we have a great conversation. My conversation might end with, Mark, I know you've got a lot on your plate. You're here to learn. I want to, set a time we get back, we can dive into this deeper. I'm really just looking to make a connection with Mark at this trade show. I'm not looking to sell him at that trade show. Now, that may be a bit of a controversial thing to say, but I can't tell you how many trade shows I've been in and salespeople put on the hard press. Look, I'm trying to attend events. I'm trying to build my own connections and networks. If I have an interest in your product, the likelihood that I'm going to buy right there and then, unless I came to that trade show knowing I wanted that, are not strong. So understand, you're going to probably close the sale later, but don't expect me to get up with you. You need to set that time with me.
Oh, I agree with you. I don't think that's controversial at all, unless you're selling pencils or really lousy swag, which let's get past that. It is all about just creating the connection and creating the opportunity to have the follow-up meeting later on. That's the key point. But to that point, you don't sit there and say, oh, I'm going to wait 2 weeks to follow up. No, you've got to be rapid, because here's the thing. You go to a trade show, you meet a lot of people. How many of those people do you really remember even 3-4 days after the trade show's over? Zero. So you got to follow up, and don't sit there and say, well, I don't want to bug them the first day. Okay, maybe you don't want to bug them the first day, but that's second. I firmly believe, and this may be controversial, the second day, you've got to be reaching out to them. You've got to be connecting with them, which comes to the point that you schedule the next meeting at the trade show. Hey, let's grab our calendars right now. Let's look. What does next Tuesday look like? Schedule the meeting right then and make it as quickly as possible after the trade show's over.
Yeah, I think, I want to talk a little bit more about what Bryn was talking about, and that is that you really need to, if you have a booth, you really need to put some time into thinking about your booth, so that, everybody seems to come up with the clever thing they're going to do right that, or the clever giveaway. And then everybody has the same thing. I remember years ago when everybody used to have a little putting contest at their booth. And it felt like every booth you went to had the putting contest, and every booth you went to is giving away the same swag. So think about your swag and think about how does this connect to my product or service, and think about what you can do, to Bryn's point, to really make your booth really value add. I love what Gina Carr is saying here, and she often asks for a booth as part of her speaking engagement. It's a great place to send folks after you speak. God, Gina, I've never thought about doing that. That's freaking brilliant. Mic drop moment.
Yes, I love that, Gina. Thank you so much for sharing. Here's something I'm going to suggest regarding swag and so forth. This is the problem. If you have a booth, do not stand in the booth. Do not stand in the booth. Get in the aisle. Get in the aisle. Here's the whole thing. You want to have conversations with people in the aisle. The reason being is this. People are always gravitate towards a crowd. And if you're talking to somebody in the aisle, guess what? It makes it harder for people to pass by. And what you're doing is you're creating a crowd. This is so key. If you're standing in the booth and trying to pull people in, there's a defense mechanism that automatically pops up. And I don't think swag is all that important. I'll tell you what, you and I, and I'm sure everybody else have thrown away more swag before you've even left that convention center or in hotel rooms, right? I mean, unless it's really, really good. So here's the whole thing. It's just about a great conversation with great questions. And you start that by standing in the aisle, creating a crowd. That's how you're going to be able to get conversations. And then it leads from there. But I'll tell you what, the people who you see them all the time, they're standing in the booth and they're trying to pull you into their, oh man, give me a break. That's like those people that when you go through Costco And when you leave and they're standing there and they're trying to sell you AT&T phone service and all that sort of stuff, and you just are gutters, you just ignore them. No, get me past it.
AT&T service or gutters. That's hilarious. Doug Lehman, welcome from Atlanta. I love this. Create an experience, media interviews, extra value beyond the booth and product and services. Andy Greenberg is chiming in here. I used to collaborate a telephone time for follow-up through at the time that I was talking to a prospect at the booth. That proved very effective. Yeah, it's having that mindset. I also think too, like, do not treat everybody you're talking to the same. Like, Mark may come through and he really has an interest or a value in that, in that product or service. I'm just mildly trying to figure something out. And how you follow up with Mark is very different than how you follow up with me. I always suggest to my clients, you bring all the business cards or whatever you've done, all your LinkedIn profiles back from the event, back from the trade show, and then rank them A, B, and C. Like, who's really hot? Who do you need to follow up with? That's an A, then a B, then a C. And a C is somebody you might just put on your newsletter list or you basically stay in time with. But when we talk about ROI, you're trying to get that deal over the finish line. You've made no money yet. You've spent a ton. So follow up with the prospects that are likely to close.
Separating A, B, and C is so key, because you can get a lot of people who just have interest, but there's no intent, and that's key. And one of the things that I have found is that the people who come by the booth, yes, Terry, we did get our name switched. Okay, you're right. It's the 4th of July. We're a little confused today.
Oh no, I love this. I love that you noticed, Terry, because I didn't even.
I saw that a couple minutes ago, and I was trying to figure out a joke too. But Terry, you beat me to it, so thank you. You always were the smarter one. Okay, here's the whole thing. People who come by your booth tend to be just people who are interested. The senior people do not really wander the floor much. They may wander a couple aisles, but that's it. What I found is that many times the best contacts you can develop are the ones at a breakout session, at some sort of an event, somewhere else. You're going to connect with them. That's why you got to make sure that you're just not relying on people coming by your booth. But so key, A, B, and C, because you're not going to have time to follow up with everybody. Forget it. You want to soak your focus, put your focus on a few of those key people that you feel are the best potentials to be the decision makers.
Yeah, I love what Gina Carr is saying here. Like, get high top chairs for the booth so you aren't sitting down in a hole. That is great advice. So simple, but really great advice. Here's another one that I think people aren't going to like so much. Stay to the end. Like, you'd be surprised. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I walk into the trade show about, 10 a.m. on the 3rd day, and people are packing up and leaving. And you're going to get those, when I think about a 3rd day, I used to go to trade shows all the time with my husband when he was in dental practice. And that was when he was ready to spend money, like, because he'd learned everything, he'd gotten everything, and he talked to his staff. They'd had discussions at dinner. They knew what they were going to buy, and they were ready to pull the trigger. So stay till the end.
One of the best, it just flashed through my mind. I'm about ready to get into an Uber at SFO going downtown, and somebody else, and sure enough, I say, hey, jump in the car with me. Winds up being a major player at a company, and wound up becoming a client of mine, all because I just offered the Uber. So don't ever hesitate to just be there and offer yourself, offer services, offer help to other people, and you're never going to know what opportunity may arise.
Yeah. Before we jump into the book, the last thing I'm going to say on trade shows is that you really need to think about ROI. I mean, really go into there thinking, I have just given time. I am not, for me, I'm not on a tennis court. I'm not on a hiking trail. I'm not on a golf course. I'm not with my family. I'm not doing the things that I love to do because I chose to go to this trade show. So what am I going to do to get the ROI out of that trade show? Because this isn't about the company. It's my time, and I want to get the ROI out of it. So think of it like that. I think you should approach every day like that. You should approach making sales calls like that, like really think it through. So Mark, what is the book today?
The book is by Joey Coleman, Never Lose a Customer. This is really a good book.
It's a great book.
It's been out there for a while. and it's very much well worth getting. Never Lose a Customer by Joey Coleman. I don't know if you got some more thoughts on it.
It's the ultimate in retention, but I think in today's world, it's a good book to read again because it's got a compounding effect in the sense that, business grows from the inside out. The more you hold on to existing customers, the more they will refer you new business. And when you think about going to a trade show, those existing customers you have are your fastest path to get to the prospects you want to connect and meet with. So work your existing customer base. Mark, I want to make a quick announcement before we head into the lightning round, because I think we have kept everybody waiting long enough. They have heard every single week for a few months now that Mark and I are talking about something new that we are super excited about. And it's a commitment to expand on the Sales Logic podcast and take what has been an incredible community of listeners, that is you, our audience, and sales professionals, and turn it into something that is more concrete. Well, if you can give us a drum roll, please, audience, I can hear you. We're pleased to announce the Sales Logic Backstage Pass. It's the room behind the podcast. It is going to be a brand new community we are unveiling later in August, that you're going to hear more about that will offer everything we do not have time to share in this weekly podcast. We are going to go deep. It is a sales community, invitation only, to build skills, connections, new professional opportunities, sales leads, referrals, and accountability. So if you're ready to learn more and interested in being invited and want to come to our own SKO for the Backstage Pass, go to our Backstage Pass website, which we'll put in the show notes, and keep tuning into the Sales Logic podcast because we will be revealing more.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. This is going to be an unbelievable community. You and I have been talking about this for really several years.
Yes.
And it's coming together and it's happening. So anyway, check out the website and looking forward to having you being part of it. Lightning round, top 10 trade show mistakes. Go.
No pre-show outreach. You're not making any connections with people before you get there.
Wow. I'm going to say not following it fast. It's so basic, but people don't do it.
Yeah, you don't define what you want to measure and what you want to get out of it. You haven't thought through your own ROI.
Ooh. Hanging out together with fellow employees.
Taking people with you who don't know the story or don't know how to ask questions, who have no trade show experience.
Not getting out on the floor in the aisle. You're standing in the booth. Don't stand in the booth. Stand in the aisle. Create the crowd.
Yeah, treating the trade show as a one-time event, like it's its own isolated sales thing.
Oh, I love it. Not attending breakouts, not attending all those other things that are happening where the real decision makers are at.
Yeah, being too slow on the follow-up.
Ooh, I love that. Hey, not scheduling meetings for the show. In other words, be reaching out to your current customers, others ahead of the show to get meetings at the show.
Yeah, not getting together with your fellow trade show attendees and really debriefing how you thought the trade show went, what worked, what didn't work, and what you could do better next time. So not being in a continuous improvement type of a landscape.
In the evening, when it's time to go out to dinner, make sure you're not going out together as a group. Oh, let's all 5 of us go out together. No, get customers, break up, go meet with customers, spend time with them. You share one more, I'll share one more. We'll close it down.
Going to the wrong trade show. Going to the trade show where your target market is not.
I'm going to add to that. Before you decide to sponsor a trade show, be at a trade show, walk the trade show. Just participate in it. Walk it. Spend a year there, and then you're going to find out if it's worthwhile. Wow, what a great show this morning. Thank you so much. Check out Backstage Pass. Go out to the link. We'll put it into the show notes. Hey, if you've been listening to Sales Logic this week, thank you so much. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. Something we've said is earn you a single dollar. Consider telling a friend about our show because it's how we grow when we help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
remember, all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. Everybody have an amazing 4th of July if you celebrate. To our Canadian friends, a little bit late, but happy Canada Day. And everybody have a safe and a happy, wonderful weekend. Mark and I cannot thank you enough for this audience. You all are fantastic and make the show so much richer. Remember, stay tuned to learn a little bit more about the Backstage Pass. We'll see you next week.